and we'll go live in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to the Will and Cody show. I don't know what we should call our fans. William, I was thinking if you ever watch PewDiePie, he calls them the bros. I got a YouTube friend, it's called Mr. Know-It-All, and he calls his fans the Know-It-Alls. I don't know what we call our fans. I guess just fans. I don't know.
I was going to say mom, or my parents, our family. That's it.
That's what it's kind of leading up to there.
Yeah, I think so. Because the idea that we would have fans, I think, is the assumption. Yeah. That's incorrect.
I feel like if we talked about anything that wasn't finance or business or self-help, we would have actual fans. But since we talk about things that are like kind of boring, no, it's not. Yeah, we don't have fans.
That's fair. So yeah, I think we have to wait to get fans before we can worry about what to name them.
Right.
Maybe we just do like a classic thing where you're either Team Will or Team Cody. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
You know what team I'm on.
Yeah.
Obviously Team Will, right? No, that'd be hilarious.
Okay. I see.
We're going to do a poll. We're going to do a Twitter poll, and there's going to be 2 people to respond. It's going to be both our moms, and then it's going to be split at 50-50, and we just won't know who wins. So,
well, we know that both of our moms are just going to vote for their sons. So
I don't know, man. My mom likes you, so
your mom does. Your mom does love me, I will say, and my mom likes you. So
that'd be funny if it's split and it was the opposite mothers.
The opposite, yeah.
That's funny. And then we got our wives too. We've got our wives. They would vote. They would vote too.
They don't. I don't know about yours. Mine doesn't really watch. So
she just knows that it's like that.
She watches some. I'm
Thursday nights are the night she gets to watch Netflix by herself. That's all she knows, and that's all she cares about.
Yes. So. Yeah, sorry, I give her a hard time. She does watch.
That's funny. Wow, that's a good way to start an episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Will and Cody Show.
Yeah.
It's been
a
while.
Bros. I don't know, whatever.
We'll go with that. We'll go with bros.
The bros.
To our moms. Yeah, it's been a while. We've been busy. But William has some more news.
I do. I think in the last episode, I talked about getting a car. And also in that, that I did need to get a second car sometime. And so I have finally done that. So I was able to get a second car.
Round of applause.
And the reason I needed it, thank you. The reason I needed it is because I had been working from home since the pandemic. So it was like 2.5 years, basically, of working from home. But I was going back into the office. And so this then created the need of, my wife goes into work every day. She uses our car. So then how am I going to get into the office? And before we could make it work with, one of us drops the other off, and then, swings by to pick them up later. We usually can make that work that first 1.5 years that we were married. But we couldn't figure out a way to make it work with this schedule. Like I would either have to get dropped off at work at I think 6:30.
Ooh.
And then my wife would come back and pick me up later. So it's really long days for both of us. So we decided a car would be best. So just to get a second car. So I bought a fancy. Hold on, Cody.
Drum roll. I'm drum rolling.
I bought a 2006 Honda Accord.
All right.
So I went with dependable and not stylish and flash, but it was in my price range. I didn't want to spend a lot for a second car. I just spent a lot of money. Well, good chunk of change on the first car. So I wanted something that I could pay cash for and not feel bad about. And something that, is reasonable, but I knew it wasn't going to break down on me all the time.
Right.
So, hence the Honda Accord.
Hey, chick magnet, man. That's
dude.
When they see you driving
I already got a wife, so
dependable. Well, yeah, that's true. But they see if you were in high school and you had an Accord, they'd be like, "Wow,
they see
that
a frugal
guy is
man.
So wise.
Look out!"
Yeah,
yeah. Ladies love a frugal man.
Yeah, I bet he saves.
So yeah. So it's been good. It gets me to work, and that's all the car needed to do, and it does its job.
Nice.
Still needs a little bit small things done, but mechanically it's all good. And it actually has less miles than our first car we bought for our primary
Very nice.
car. So I'm basically going to be driving this thing around a lot, trying to get a lot of use out of it.
I was about to say,
But
an Accord, I mean, they're crazy. We've got a Honda Civic. I can't kill it. I've tried. It just keeps going. It's got 240 something thousand miles.
Oh dang, dude.
Air conditioning will go out all the time. I've had it completely like redone. I've probably put almost $2,000 into trying to fix this air conditioning over a period of time. And that's the only issue. Everything else, like nothing mechanical. I've changed out a headlight every once in a while. Nothing. So minus the occasional AC going out, this thing just keeps going. And I don't think it'll ever die. So Honda's, it's a good car.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I love Toyota, and that's kind of what I've been buying. But I really didn't see a lot that were in my price range. And so this one was a little more affordable. So I went with that. Instead, I got it checked out. I'm not a mechanic, so I got it checked out by a mechanic, and he said everything was good. It's got some cosmetic, like quirks to it, but nothing mechanical.
Right.
But yeah, it feels really good. Honestly, it felt great getting that out of the way, because it had kind of been something we had been needing to do for a long time. And so getting it out of the way felt nice. And then now we've got it. It's done. It's on our insurance. So we did take a little bit of a hit there where we're paying more in auto insurance, but it feels good to have a car. And so far I've been driving it to work like 2-3 weeks, something like that. And I filled it up once we got it, and it has not cracked like 3/4 full.
Man.
Yet. So it's still above that. So I am liking that.
That's awesome. Comment below if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, just hit us up on social media. Tell us if you want William to do I don't know what you call it when you're like showing off your car. I always think of like cribs, cribs where they would like show off their
classic
what's
MTV
that for
cribs.
Cars?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Pimp My Ride. I don't know.
Yeah.
That show?
We're going to do an episode of Pimp My Ride. So comment below if you want William to show off his new hot car.
It doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
It's just,
I just want to see you like super excited about it. That's just what I want to see.
And then it's just an Accord. Basically said that.
I literally
some have said basically I'm the Accord of people. Like that's it. It's just basic, but dependable, reliable. You know what you're getting, but not gonna wow you. Just gonna be there. That's this guy.
I'm not even kidding, guys. I was gonna try to pop it. I'm still trying to figure out. We're doing a new software, so I couldn't figure it out. I was going to like pop up an Accord when he mentioned it. And as I'm doing the stream, I just Google Accord, like a 2006 Accord. And the first one that pops up, he's like, oh, that's it. So I even got the right
same color.
Most
like
generic,
it was exact.
Perfectly generic thing you could ever think of.
Yeah. Just if vanilla was a car, that's what I got.
It's like no sprinkles, nothing.
That's it. Just vanilla. That's it.
That's funny.
But it's good. I like it.
It's great.
So I really like the car. And yeah, again, it fits what I needed. So I didn't need anything more, and I didn't need anything less. So, really excited to have that.
Do you have FM
now
radio?
We do have. What's that?
Do you have FM radio?
Oh yeah, it's got the radio.
Yeah, then see, you're good.
It does not. One quirk I realized, it has the button for an aux port, like on the radio display, right? It's got the button to switch to an aux. But that in the 06, you had to get like the highest edition of Accord for it to actually come with an aux port. So it has the aux button, but no aux port to actually like hook in an aux cable.
It's so funny.
You can install one, and I've seen videos where people you can manually install one, or I've seen some workaround stuff, so I'm probably gonna have to figure one of those out, or just like I have a Bluetooth speaker, so I may just like stick that in the car, and then then I can have a Bluetooth speaker. So
just imagine
that was one thing I joked with my wife. I was like, that's a deal breaker. I got to return the car.
Just imagine you like seeing the aux button, you hit it and you're like, what's happening? You're like looking around, you're trying to find it. You realize it doesn't have it. I just hear Sarah McLachlan in the background. It's just like, in the arms of, you're just like so sad. Like that's all I imagine.
That's actually a very accurate representation of what happened. I was in the car, I was listening to the radio and I'm like, I want to listen to my phone. Let me find this aux port, and I could not find it. And so I literally like looked everywhere for this aux port. I'm like, where on this display is it? And then I looked up that it doesn't even have one.
I'm so sorry.
So it's okay. I'll figure it out.
There's a workaround.
Not the end of the world.
There's
some few workarounds I found.
Yeah, my work truck's got the one where you plug it into the cigarette lighter. And it creates a radio signal, and you just go to that station, and it's Bluetooth. It works pretty well until I get like, if I'm heading towards Atlanta, that station will then start to crackle a little bit, starting to come in a little bit more. Then I have to like change it, but that's not that bad.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get one of those.
Yeah.
Because that'd be nice. But yeah, I don't know, like I'm a fan of the car in general. And I'm just not a super flashy car guy. So it's like at certain points you like the comfort things, you like those, but this was strictly a car to get me to work. And so I didn't need to buy something super expensive.
Right.
And I didn't want to have another car payment. Watch the last episode to explain my first car payment.
Oh yeah. Like spoiler.
But so I just wanted to get some out of the way. We had the money saved up. So I don't know. It's just like, it's just a car. That's all it is. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know a lot of people would say, well, you got to get, this in your car and all that kind of different stuff. But for me, I could pay cash for it and it met the need that I needed. So that's all I was going to get.
Nice. And that's great. I mean, in this market right now, to be able to find a used car that you can afford that's in the mileage that you were talking about.
I was searching for a while.
That's crazy. The used car market is not letting up. In fact, just the other day I was talking with a buddy. He bought a used car. It was a nicer, flashier, sportier Honda Civic, like an SI or something, like a really recent one. Mm-hmm. But he was like, it's still like 20 grand. Like it's a crazy amount of money for what is a used car. But what's funny is like he could then just sell it and probably make his money back, if not have a little bit more in just the next few months. Yeah. But then how like used cars are still the same way. Like once you drive it off the lot, it really isn't like, it doesn't lose as much value as it once did, but it's just weird. It's like, it's not the same as used cars right now. Like used cars are increasing in value and the new cars, they're just about the same. I was looking at like, you can go get a brand new Kia K5, which by the way, with its ceramic metallic paint looks amazing. I'm addicted to that car for whatever reason. It's like 19 grand. Like that's not bad. That's not bad. You can't find a brand like a used car for 19 grand that has 0 miles on it. And so my whole like perception of like, well, I guess it would have 3 if it was in the dealership. But anyway, just the idea of like, you get what I'm saying? You're like, Cody, they have to drive it somewhere. But just the idea of like such low mileage on something and like the price points are like similar to things with 100,000 miles on them. It just baffles me. I don't really understand why. I'm not a car guy, so I don't understand car markets. I'm just on Facebook Marketplace and I'm like, I could get something new for that. It's still out of my price range. Tough. I can't afford a car right now. But like, if I was to buy a car at that price, why don't I just go ahead and get a new one?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough choice. I think it's all about supply of new cars and versus used cars. And I think a lot of people are trying to get used cars right now. So it's driving the price up versus new. I know definitely like a lot of the new cars that are coming out are going to be your high-end models, because if you can't make a ton of cars, you're going to make the high-end car. Right. Because you're going to make more money on it. So that's what's kind of being pushed out. So I think if you want a lower end model, you're going to have to go used instead of new right now. At least
that makes sense.
When I was looking at it, that's kind of the case of that. So no, it's definitely weird. It's like the rare time where I was buying this car and it's like, it actually might hold its value for a little bit. or increase, which would be crazy. It's like cars don't appreciate in value unless it's like a collectible or something like that. Or a classic car or something. Like, other than that, they always decrease, but right now they just are going up.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of things going up.
Yeah, I was going to say also home prices are still somehow. Oh my goodness. They are still going up.
I was going to look at the current rate while we were, because I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's also rates are going up too. That's something else we could talk about.
So rates going up and then houses going up. That's still weird to me because we were always told like, well, maybe not just housing, but like the market in general. And maybe there's a time difference that like there's got to be a delay. And I'm sure that that's the case. But rates have been going up for 3 months now. I mean, we're already in April.
Mostly 2 months. Yeah.
Okay.
2 months.
Yeah, you're right. Because it was like February when they announced.
Yeah, February.
So 2 months.
Yeah.
The market's still crazy. Like it just housing, stock market, but rates are going up faster than what they anticipated. And the market did dip when they announced it, but then it just went right back up. So.
Yeah, I think it'll take some time. Because for those of you like listening, basically the logic is and how you can think about it. We may have said this on the podcast before, so forgive me if I'm repeating it. But think of rates as a gas pedal on a car. So as you push down on the gas, your car's gonna speed up, and as you let up on the gas, your car's gonna slow down. Mm-hmm. So rates should work that way in markets, or like borrowing rates. Is, let's say your mortgage rate, which I think, Cody, right now, I think I heard was like 5-6%, somewhere in there.
I'm looking right now, yeah.
Going up. But like like a year ago, it was like 2-3%. So it was very low. And so the thought is, okay, if rates are low, that means you're down on the gas. You should seek growth, which is what we did. We saw, the market go crazy. But then as rates start to increase, you should see a slowdown because now it's going to be more expensive to borrow money. So if like you were going in and buying I'm just going to say like a $500,000 house or something like that. If you buy it now with the increased rates, it's going to cost you more to buy the same amount of house. So you could still pay $500,000, but your payments are going to be a lot higher because now you're paying more interest. Mm-hmm. Almost double in some cases the interest that you maybe would have paid a year ago if you would have bought the house. So it's now more expensive. So that would make you think, okay, that's going to be harder for people to buy a house. So either a few things are going to happen. Either your demand should lessen because you're going to price out some people of saying, well, I can't afford that. And then the other thing is then your housing price, your total price should also adjust at some point. It may not be immediate. And that's the thing that you never know. It should decrease to then offset. Because if you think about it, now you're going to be paying more interest. People aren't going to be able to pay as much for the house itself because they're paying all this extra interest. So it should help decrease housing prices. But again, there's always usually a delay on that. And it's not guaranteed that it's going to be, 1-for-1 or whatever relationship. It just should kind of affect it a little bit.
Right.
So it is definitely interesting. Like it'll see, I guess, what the rest of this year holds, but that should be at least the logic that you would have behind it, in that it would help kind of slow things down from getting out of control by raising those rates.
Right. So NerdWallet, the 30-year fixed rate APR is 4.949. So it is
upward 5%. So I think it was a little high with 6. So
is that 5 basis points from 5?
Yeah.
I think a basis point's what, 10% or 0.1%? Sorry.
Yeah, 0.0. Yeah.
Okay. So then it's 5 basis points from 5%. That's crazy. Because we were talking about almost hitting high 2s with 30-year mortgages.
Yeah.
Just a few months ago,
like a year ago,
6-7 months ago.
Yeah, it was quick.
And your 15-year fixed was well in the 2. I even heard some people got 1.9s, and now we're approaching 4%. We're one basis point away from 4% in 15 years.
That's double. Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading an article, and I wanted to run this by you right quick. I was reading an article about how so many people are being priced out of the market, but you still have like BlackRock and all these higher up people that corporations that are just buying with cash usually. It was saying that they were going to be doing more adjustable rate mortgages for immediate turnarounds in the next few years. Everybody was going to turn to ARMs because ARMs are lower rates. Like if I get a 3-year ARM, that's 2.3%. And so what it was saying is the logic was that they're only going to hold it for maybe a year. So they would just go ahead and grab that, try to flip it, make a profit, and then hopefully have some cash reserves in the back end if they had then had to, pay it off or whatever after the 3 years.
Right.
But then it was saying the rate at which people started getting adjustable rate mortgages increasing is a sign of a bubble and is a sign of a recession. And that 2006 and 2007 had an unprecedented amount of ARM mortgages. And so it was saying that we are seeing a repeat of that. And so what it was saying was that a bubble? And then its argument was that it wasn't a bubble just because it's not like you and I using adjustable rate mortgages. It was your big guys using them just to be able to have money to leverage. And it was still cheaper. And they were still looking at that short term, even in the 6-month range, short term of flipping houses and, or putting renters in and then worrying about the interest rates later. Because then you could, if you got an ARM and you got and it's adjusting, you could potentially just adjust the rent for the next year if the rate went up.
If you bump it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I don't know. I've given up trying to time the market and guess where things are going to go. So all this that Cody and I are saying about like guessing, like it's how things should maybe be, or like logically maybe you might think, but there's also logic to say the complete opposite. So things usually work in cycles. So we're trying to say, this kind of looks like a little bit what it did, last time. This happened, but the market could just keep going on like it is. But yeah, ARMs are, interesting. Usually you'll see that, Cody, in that article was saying, towards a recession, because as I mentioned, as rates increased, a lot of people are going to be priced out of them. And so they're going to turn to an adjustable rate mortgage, maybe to be able to afford a house and overextend themselves. So the worry would be, okay, when those rates do increase on them, because adjustable means it's not set. So the rates are going to adjust after, whatever the term is. So let's say 3 years. What happens if then it becomes too expensive for them to be able to afford? They're possibly going to lose the house. And that would be the scary thing, is if it's an individual who can't afford that now higher payment from the ARM. That's why it kind of gets a nickname, arm and a leg, is because if it does adjust against you and you're stuck with it, you could lose the house. If you can't pay it. So I think that is an interesting point, though, about the difference between that happening with an individual and a business, maybe a bigger investment company. I just say it depends on the volume at which they're doing it. Obviously, they can get over leveraged as well, but it seemed like if they're big enough and they're just doing this on a smaller basis, as you mentioned, just to flip houses, they might be fine, and they can kind of eat that loss from when those ARMs kick in, if they even do. So I guess that really just depends. But I think for individuals, that can be scary if you're suddenly now priced out of your own home with your rates changing. Because those that locked in a rate, you should be fine. Right? I mean, if you can make that payment, everything else stays the same. You could do it. But with rates increasing with ARMs, it now becomes harder for some people to be able to afford that. house. And that could definitely lead, as we've seen before, to a slowdown or a recession. Just because now you've got a lot of these people being foreclosed on their house. And so that definitely changes it. But yeah, I think it might be a little different just because of the business aspect, as you mentioned, compared to like just an individual that's, that's purchasing a home.
Right. Yeah. I don't recommend arms. Like, I like that. I've never heard that actually, arm and a leg. I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of the nickname for it, because most often it's just kind of unfortunate, but someone maybe could show me some data on it, but most often I think people say it's going to turn against you. Like, they're not going to adjust it in your favor. Like, oh yeah, it's usually going to be higher. And so if you can't afford that, then it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
When that adjustment comes.
Do you know, random fact, and I saw this on Reddit, so I need to confirm it, but in Canada, they only have adjustable rate mortgages.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
That's off a subreddit thread that I saw somebody comment about it in a finance thing. He said in Canada, they don't have fixed rate mortgages. It's all adjustable rate. So that was very
I'd be
interesting.
interested to see what the terms of those are then, if that's the case,
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see maybe if they actually have more favorable terms to what American arms would be.
Right.
Maybe
weird.
that kind of offsets it.
It seems odd to have like everybody, in an adjustable rate. Like if rates increase, like that's everybody. Like that.
Right.
That's crazy. So I don't know, but that was interesting. There's a looking at CNBC article. Even though rates are going up, the market does not seem to be. It is technically gone down, but I'm talking like a 2%, like a 1%, not something.
Yeah, nothing compared to the growth. Yeah.
In fact, last week I saw an article from, I think it was WSB, which is a pretty big Atlanta news source. Like a lot of local people go to WSB, which is Channel 2, and so they had a Facebook, and they were saying that it is official that Atlanta is too expensive for most Georgians, and that it is very, very, very difficult to buy, and therefore most people are priced out. So that there is a slight decrease in the housing market, but it is not noticeable from the 30-40% increase that we saw. But the demand has gone down. In fact, with the rates, CNBC says that the demand went down more than 40% from a year ago. So that's still
should make sense if people get in houses. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
demand. I don't know what that means though, because when we think of like supply and demand, is that the same thing, or are they talking like, did they just poll some people and they said that we're not looking for a house anymore, and then they say 40%?
Right. It depends. Where they exactly got that from. Yeah.
So like in a supply and demand sense, if that demand works in that equation, then a 40% decrease that should affect a price point, as long as demand is not, or as long as supply is not adjusted as well, right? Because if supply went lower too, and demand went lower, the price point would probably be the same. Because it does. If it does this, you're I'm trying to think. If both increase, the price point's the same, and if both decrease, the price point's the same. But if both are opposite in their direction, then the price point will then change.
Yeah, and that's what most people have said has been probably one of the biggest factors in this. I mean, obviously, inflation is big. You've got people coming out of a pandemic stuck wherever they're living and are like, I need something different. Like, it makes sense. Like, if you wanted a little more space or something. You've got people that are moving to different cities. If you think about it, like, maybe you're in California or New York and now you're working from home. You want to get out and maybe go to a different area. So you've got that as well. But then what a lot of people have attributed this to is the decrease in supply of houses. So new houses being built. So it's kind of that same thing as you were saying. If demand increased due to some different factors and then supply decreased, that's what leads to this price going way up, because there's a lot of people that want to buy and not a lot of availability. So hence that. So what I guess the thought would be is like if demand is going down, and then hopefully once the supply chain can get back up and running, you'll see that supply come back up and things will find a level again.
Right.
Right now you're just seeing this crazy high demand and not a lot of availability or supply.
Right.
For it, which drives the price up. So it makes sense.
Yeah. So as far as our predictions on the housing market, we still don't know, but it looks like some decreasing is going to happen. Probably not a crash like we originally thought. Although you and I, we didn't even really think there was going to be a major crash. It was just like a small bubble pop when we first talked about this about a year ago.
Just adjustment.
Yeah.
I don't know when we'll see it, but I feel like there might be some settling, I guess is a better word, of if supply can catch up. And that's the other question too, of like maybe demand is so high that it's going to take years for supply to catch up. I don't know. Right. That could be another thing. But you would think as supply eventually catches up, things might level off a little bit.
Right. But you do see the supply is extremely low. But if the demand is lowered exponentially, then there will be a point where the demand goes beyond the supply, and then therefore there would be a decrease. So that, in my opinion, that would take some significant rate hikes, and I'm talking like in the
there'd be a lot
8 and 9% probably. And I don't think we're going to see something like that. We'll probably see it, but not this year. We'll probably see maybe 6% by the end of the year. I could be wrong though, because we were told 4% by the end of the year, and it's already 5%.
That's true.
So at this rate,
you never know,
we might hit 7%, and that's who knows what that'll do. So.
And again, back to that point is when I say like price people out of homes, that decreases your demand. If you can no longer afford that house, even if it, because now it's too expensive, not because of the house price, but because of the interest rate you're paying every month, that's going to price people out and lower that demand as well. On that. So that could be another factor. But again, we don't know.
Yeah.
We're not trying to time it.
Magic of markets. We have no idea. But it is fun to speculate.
And again, if you want comedy, if you want something funny to make you laugh, go to like the Will and Cody YouTube channel and just scroll down like really far. I don't know if it's all the way at the bottom, but scroll down really far. And I feel like, Cody, we did a video early on about like what people should do if they want to buy a house. And it was 2020. I think we made that video.
I'm going to pull it
up. And we were saying houses seem a little overpriced. In 2020, that's what we said. And we were like, I would wait a little bit because, and we like, I don't know, I think we explained some different factors that we had thought at the time, and that were going to decrease, maybe housing prices were going to decrease. And then literally the next 2 years, they explode in unprecedented level. So it shows you how much you can time the market. It shows you how much we know.
So I'm
about
Googling
forecasting.
And so all the people that just heard the theme song, because I'm recording my computer, I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull it up right here. I think it's called Rent or Buy, Will and Cody. And
if you want a good laugh, go watch that video.
Yeah. Because you want to see William against a wall because he didn't have...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because you were up in a corner with your laptop.
Yeah. Again, we could see and try to predict macro trends using micro things, but there's too many factors, and there's the human element as well in that. So yeah, I think if you look in the grand scheme of things, it seems like we're pretty high up on the cycle right now, like at the top of the cycle or getting there. So you'd think maybe there's going to be a little bit of a, kind of a decrease, but it could keep going for a little bit longer, or I don't know how much longer, what I mean? So I can't say for sure when and how much, because you can't try to time it perfectly.
Right.
With that. But I know personally, I'm just saying, as somebody who does not own a home, I would hope for something, like a bubble to pop or something like that. So that homes can become affordable that I could buy one. But it could keep going and keep rising for another few years. Inflation has been pretty high. So I don't want to predict that, but I am planning for, when things maybe settle down and I can get something a little more affordable. I want to be ready for that time. But also I want to be realistic of I may not know exactly when that time's going to come. So I don't want to have all my resources just sitting to the side, but maybe have a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's a tough balance, I personally find, to have. Yeah.
It's weird because like you also have individual markets where you are, like the market could crash, but if 100 people want to move into your area, that's going to affect your market within that certain bubble that you're in. So I look at Zillow all the time, and right now I do see occasionally like very expensive houses way out of my range, and it'll say like decreased by, $9,000, but it's a $650,000 house. That really doesn't mean a lot to me.
That's not.
The only other thing that I noticed is on Zillow, we just don't see houses. Like I could put a 50-mile radius of me and do like 200,000, which was crazy, like a lot of money in 2020. That's nothing in Georgia now. Like that's literally like in Phoenix. That's like
you can't find anything.
You can't get a camper for $200,000. And so when you look at that, it's like there's nothing there, and so there's still this like supply issue. So from what is it called? Is it anecdotal when it's like you're just looking at your personal experience to make a decision? I think it's anecdotal evidence. Anecdotally looking at like Zillow and looking at the market, I'm seeing it go down. I'm seeing demand go away. I'm seeing people having to, negotiate a little bit more. But from the increase of 40, 50, even 60% that we've seen in our little bubble market here, and by bubble, I mean like within a 50-mile radius of me, it is not even close to how much had it increased 2, 3, 4 years ago. So as far as maybe going down a little bit, sure. But as far as ever getting back to a place where it was affordable again, I have no idea. And
that's tough.
Yeah, it's, I don't think it's going to be '08 again. I think I'll buy a house eventually, but it's probably going to be still at an inflated rate more than what I wanted to. I just had to save even more money.
It's going to definitely be more than it was before.
Exactly.
I don't think it'll go back down that far.
So, yeah. But that's just our opinion.
But it's tough.
Who knows?
Yeah. # not financial advice.
Do we need to do that like every time? Like we just put like a hashtag?
No, I don't think we.
If you listen to us, you know this isn't financial advice.
I mean, we try to at least give some what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do.
We tell you
so
what
I
we
am
think.
planning on hoping that one day I can, someday soon I can buy a house. That'd be awesome. But until then, I've still got a lot of other stuff I'm trying to do to prepare for that. And, I'm okay renting right now. I mean, my rent went up, but not that bad. I don't want to get in a house over my head. And so right now I'm not seeing anything that is in kind of my range. So, if I can't afford it, I can't afford it.
Right.
Basically, how I'm thinking about it.
Well, we're about at time. Good
stuff.
Yeah, it's not easy. Can't predict things, but my wife and I, we've decided that we're content where we are, and eventually, when the time's right, we'll move on to the next chapter. But for now, we're in this chapter, and we're just gonna make the best of it. So we're gonna keep saving our pennies and dimes and keep watching things, and then maybe there'll be an opportunity, and if there's not, we'll just figure out a way to be okay with that. Yeah.
And do what you can to prepare now, instead of just saying, well, I hope, because I can hope the market does certain things, but I can also, say, okay, what can I do to prepare for whatever's coming down the road? And then I'll be ready, Yeah. I think that'll be the best way to approach it. Because if it keeps going up, then, all right, I need to be focused then and keep saving and investing so that one day I can get there.
Yeah.
But if I sit around and just be like, oh, everything's too expensive and then I can't afford anything and do nothing, then even when an opportunity rolls around, I won't be able to afford it then.
Yeah, exactly.
So do what you can now, to get there. And then maybe there's other opportunities you do in the meantime. So instead of being all in on, let's save up for, a house, maybe there's, other investing you can do, until that time, it kind of becomes available.
Absolutely. So best financial advice we can give you is hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
That's always good.
That's
always a good motto.
Yeah. It's a little pessimistic, but like it's not going to fail you. Not going to fail you in the financial world.
Yeah. You're not going to be disappointed.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Not going to be disappointed if you never expect disappointment. What's the quote in Spider-Man? Shoot. What's the recent Spider-Man movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Talk about No Way Home?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Oh yeah, MJ. Yeah.
She says something.
You can never be disappointed when you expect disappointment or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. I was like, man, that's like profound. I'm gonna live by that.
This is deep.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up. We went a little over time, but that is okay.
And finished on a sad note. I don't know how we got there, but
sorry. I know
I'm good. I'm saying like I'll end it on a positive. We got a plan.
Yeah.
We're going to execute. We're going to get it done regardless.
Yeah.
So, and then good for all you people that own a house right now because your house is worth a lot of money. So
yeah, it's probably going to go up a little bit more. So
yeah. So good for you guys.
All right. I like that positive note.
There you go.
So we'll remember that next time. So we'll try to leave on a positive note on every episode. So we'll do that. All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed that, please let us know. Please comment, give us a 5-star review. You can do that on Spotify now. That is the thing. You can give a 5-star review now.
Good to know.
Apple Podcasts do the same. All the other places, I have no idea. We use a distributing software and it puts us out in places. And so I have no idea where we are, but I know we're on Spotify and I know we're on Apple Podcasts and I think Google Podcasts. So nice. Wherever we're at, give us a rating, hit us up. If you get any questions, we do plan to do another Guru review. If you enjoyed the one where we didn't really roast Dave Ramsey, but we thought about it, we may try to attempt to roast him again or
the roast of Dave Ramsey might be coming soon.
Exactly. So let us know if you got a guru that you want us to take a look at. And we're thinking about some stuff in the future, maybe some restructuring. Just kind of see where the future of the podcast and our 5 fans are. And so we're going to be looking to make a few more
generous.
of them. I know, right? It's like 2 our moms, our wives, and then I don't know who the other guy is. There's somebody. But anyway.
I think we round up maybe 2 more people. So I think that might be right.
Yeah. Oh, we got
maybe
Laura.
5 or 6.
Laura's a big fan. And,
shout out.
My sister-in-law is actually a big fan. Laura's a friend of ours. She said that she was really mad that we didn't have an episode up because she was like, I need some background noise. I need new background noise. Where are you guys at?
We're good for background noise.
Yeah,
just listening to us chat and yell at each other.
We're just going to call you next time you're bored and you can just leave us and we'll just talk to each other and you just put it on speakerphone.
Yeah, we'll just do that sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. We're going to do that for hire. That's our new side hustle. So anybody that wants background noise, William and I will talk on your speakerphone for however long you need us to, but we'll charge $50 an hour.
I mean, it sounds good to me. I don't know. I think there's a great market for that.
Exactly.
Hit us up if you're interested.
All right, guys. Well, we
gotta go.
See you next time before this goes way off the rails. See ya.